Good morning to everybody out there. This is the 2nd of October. It's about 9:24 a.m. We're about 6 minutes to the opening bell. Real interesting developments over the weekend, as you are all probably fully aware, with the President Trump having confirmed case of coronavirus along with his wife, the First Lady, and markets have reacted in a significant way to this. And so I want to take a look at a few things here. I'm going to obviously be making some adjustments to the counts that I've got. And of course, before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and flip over into the charts here and see what we've got to deal with today. Okay, so I've made a small change already to this chart, and initially, I didn't really like the count at the time because it was really smashed up here. I basically had a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 4 here, and then a 5 up there. It just didn't look well. So now what I think we actually had, we had a really deep 4 here. We went for a 5. We made a little bit of a higher high. I would say we had a little bit of a truncation here on the 5th to complete this wave 1. I actually do believe that that more than likely we are in the midst of wave 2. Okay, so let me see if I can find my 5 up here. I believe that this is the completion of that wave 5. So from the bottom down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete the 1, and now we are working on a 2. I don't think we're going to see a double bottom here, at least not right now. I have not let go of the hypothesis that we are going to be going up to 395 to 400 by election time. That is still on the table in my eyes. But what we've got now, we've got basically the beginning, I believe, the beginning of a correction to get us down to wave 2. I don't think this is wave 2. I actually think it's probably going to be further out here, potentially all the way down to maybe 327 or 3270 if you're looking at the ES. One thing that I will say is we're still holding, and actually we came down to this trend line perfectly. We retested this perfectly. You know, it is what it is. It's what it looks like right now for me. But let's just take a look at two different technical pivots here. Of course, we got this one down here. I'm going to pull it over here so that we've got less clutter on the screen, all the way up here to the top. So we're going to take that as close as we can. Came back to the 382. I would say more than likely we're probably going to come to at least the 50. And this may happen. This may actually happen on Monday. It's possible. It's possible it may happen today, but down here, coming down here to the 50, it is very, very possible we do come down here to the 618. 618 would make sense if you take a look at this pivot right here. So let's just tag this guy as close as we can to the top there, pull it over. That comes right to the 618. You could see that comes down into the golden zone. So these are areas that I'm going to be looking for there to be a continuation to the upside. For right now, it doesn't look very good. Probably are going to have something along the lines of a dead cat bounce, if that's what you want to call it. We got 2 minutes till the bell. And, just knowing that this red line here is that technical pivot right there. So again, 1, A, B, C, clear correction here. We talked about this. A big move off of there, A, B, C, clear correction off of that. So very likely that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete that. And you can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of this 5 as well. I'm not going to dig into it that much, even though I am looking at a 5-minute chart. It looks like that is possible that did complete. And with the retracement that we've got here, okay, so this is the second thing we're going to take a look at here, trend-based fib extension. We're going to take ourselves from the top, and we've got A, B, and then we come down here to the 175. Okay, this is also something we talk about pretty often. We talk about this 175 a lot. We came down to the 175, which leads me to believe we probably are going to come back down here to 327, right? We were just talking about that, 327. That's the 2618. I don't believe we're going to go as deep as 323, 324, but 327 does seem likely over time, okay? So if this is a 1, 2, 3 working on a 4. This looks like a wedge here. Probably will find our way down here at some point, maybe Monday, down here in this 327 area. Okay, so we've got this bell opening in about 30 seconds. It looks like we're probably going to be compressing, continued compression here. And let's just talk about this. Now that we know that we've got a technical pivot here, we've got a technical pivot right there that we should be paying attention to. This right here would be nice, a good technical pivot off of here. So let's just watch this. Right here, try and get that. Move this over, that's right at the 50. 2 technical pivots off of 2 technical fib pulls, okay? So we've got that one right there, and we've got this one right here, both dominant pivots, okay? Dominant pivots there. So naturally, we're going to remove the fib on there, and we're just going to keep an eye on these two because we know that this is the 50, we know that this is the 618. Markets are trying to push up, but markets may be trying to push up. But one thing you have to pay attention to, and let me see if I can zoom in on this, is the fact that it looks like we are creating a bearish pennant here. So if we can break out of this, and I'm only looking at a 5-minute chart here, so lots can happen in all of this. I'm not sure that we're going to break up and out of this today. More than likely, we are going to find our way down here, which would be, let's just put this in here. From up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, A, B, C into the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3. We're working on the 4, then we come down for the 5. And again, this could happen today, right? This could happen later. We'll see what happens if we are actually able to push up and out of here. Right now, we got to break up above 334, 3340 on ES. We got to break up above that. It doesn't look like it's going to happen yet. Trump had a 98% chance of living, so the markets are only down 2%. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, I can see us pushing down one more leg because again, you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, A, B, C into the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, A, B, C into the 2, and then we've got a long 3, 4, 5 into the 3, and then we're working on basically A, B, C, D, E, and then we should be topping out here real soon. If the market's strong, we've bottomed. If the market is strong, we've bottomed. I'm not ready to admit that, and it's possible this wedge is still in the middle of being put together. We could be looking at something like this, but right here looks like if you're looking at the pennant, this should be a place where we get a little bit of a rejection. It looks like we're starting to get a little bit of that right now. Nonetheless, I would be looking for a move down here to this 330 level, 3300. Sorry, not 3300. 3291, somewhere in that range, potentially today, later today, right? Later today, very possible if this happens. What it basically looks like here, futures were very bearish. Your intraday, we look like we're trying to push up. Again, likely a dead cat bounce before we do move down. So I don't want to spend too much time on here because I've got some things that I want to get to myself. Let me take a look at NQ, right? So we've discussed this, numerous times on how NASDAQ has historically been more bullish than the S&P. So we know that, right? We know that for a fact. Same thing here, ABC correction. We know that on the S&P, this shot deeper, right? We didn't violate this in NASDAQ. Over here, ABC, it looks very similar. And so likely, again, we've discussed this. We're going to go ahead and make the adjustment to the chart here. This is likely the 5 on this, which could be the completion of this 3, working on the 4. Now, if this is the case, if this is actually what's happening here, and remember, I labeled this gray because I was not married to this count. If this is the case, and this is a 1, 2, well, this pivot has to hold. And I'm not so sure that it's going to. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. 11.2 is now that level that's very important. We had moved from 10.5 up to 10.655. But now for me, short term, we've got to hold 11.2, okay? And maybe we do. You know, this does look a little constructive. I'd like to see ourselves move up a little bit higher. This would be a pretty crazy bear trap if this were the case. But really, we didn't move down very far in the grand scheme of things, you know, with the news. Yeah, I mean, we moved down a little ways, but is it enough to say that we have like a disaster? 2.4% down. Yeah, I mean, that's significant, but from the bottom, you know, we've gone up, you know, almost 9%, and, you know, pulled down 2, but up 9, down 2. It's not bad. It's not bad. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm skeptical that you know, that we're going to come back down to the lows. Possible if that's the 3, we come down, you know, right here, you know, you've got the 382 at 11.2. So again, possible this thing does, you know, come down just a little bit more. I'm not sure if this is an A, B, C, or if this is the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working on the 5, right? It's possible that happens. I would be watching to see the reaction at 11,234 on NASDAQ. On ES, I would be looking for the reaction at 32.92, right? Watch the reaction there. Okay, so we've got 2 reaction points. Maybe we don't get there, but if we do, I would be watching and seeing what happens there. Just because, you know, I mean, we've got a lot of chop here, but I would still remain mid-term bullish. Long-term bearish, mid-term bullish, short-term a little bearish, right? Not like extremely, but a little bit. So I guess that's my bias right now. I also said that I would take a look at Bitcoin because Bitcoin has been also making some significant moves. As you can see, we're still moving a little bit lower here. We got as low as 10.4, 10.4. You know, let me move up to maybe an hourly chart and pay attention here. Okay, so yesterday, it was early in the morning yesterday. We were talking about this move up here, talking about how we should be finding some resistance here, and it looks like we have. So we pulled down. I had predicted that we would come all the way down as low as probably 10.3. Okay, 10.3. From there, again, I'm bullish. I'm bullish. So these pullbacks, while they can be seen as significant and devastating, I don't see them as, you know, completely ruining and obliterating the markets. I don't see that right now. Yeah, we're getting a pullback, and yeah, people are going to start going crazy, and people are going to start, you know, loading up on puts, which they are already heavily bearish anyway. If you take a look at open interest on SPY, for instance, today is Friday. Today is a day that we have options that expire. And let's just take a look and see what we've got here. We've got 934,000 contracts that are open. 64% are bearish. Okay, 934,000, that's significant. But yesterday we had 1.4 million contracts that traded hands yesterday, and that accounted for 55% bearish and 44% bullish. Okay, so we've got that, but 64% of all remaining open interest on today's expiration are bearish. So what does that mean? What's going to happen there? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But the point being, usually the majority is wrong, and the open interest that you have in front of you, the open interest that you can have access to, that's going to be what you have to watch and see where the majority sits, where the majority lies. And there is a story to be told and a lesson to be learned looking at this. I am particularly paying close attention to October 16th, which has 3.7 million contracts of open interest, and 63% are bearish. And if you take a look at the volume from yesterday, there were 264,000 contracts that traded hands, and 65% of them were bearish. Okay, so those obviously, if we go back to this, and let's go back to a 5-minute chart, the contracts that opened yesterday, I mean, they're printing, right? It looks like we're trying to push up and out of here, but I would say that they're printing, but are they going to sell? Are they going to, are they going to get out of their positions that are currently in profit? Because I guarantee those 264,000 contracts that opened yesterday that were bearish, they're in profit right now. But are they going to be wise enough to get out of those positions now? Or are they going to just continue to hold and to pray that the market's just going to keep falling? The majority is usually, not always, it's the it's the rule, but there are exceptions. Usually the majority is wrong. And the open interest that I can see here on SPY is very, very incredibly bearish, especially when you get into let's see here, November 20th, 72% bearish. You're very neutral on December 18th, which is pretty interesting. There's 4 million contracts on December 18th, which is almost a 50-50 split. All right. Daniel has a question. I have a question. There was a 1 and a 4 overlapping in the count. Is that correct? Well, let's just go ahead and take a look here. Okay, so going back to the hourly, and a 1 and a 4 overlapping on the count. So here, this is like an expanding diagonal. So when you have diagonals that you're working with, yeah, this is something that, some people count this as an A, B, C, D, E rather than a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I prefer to count it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down into the A, and then you've got your A, B, C up into the B, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, oh, in July. Okay, let's go back to July. All right, so this is July, and we're talking about the 1 and the 4 overlapping in the count. I don't have an overlap, at least that I can see on here, on the 1 and the 4. Oh, June, okay. June, well, this is June through here. So like for here, we have an A, B, C. I don't know. All of June appeared to me to be an ABC correction. So from here, I guess just to clarify this from up here, what I see is an A, a B, and then a C. Pretty clear, actually. This works out pretty well, especially from here, A, B, C into the C. Then you've got an A here. Then from up here, we've got A, B, C into the B, and then you've got the C up here into the B. So in my opinion, all of June actually, does appear to be an ABC correction. And actually the C is either going to be here or the C is going to be here. It's probably more likely that this is the C right here. And this can be counted as a 5 wave, but I'm going to count this right in here as an A, a B, and a C. I don't see any overlaps here, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I'm seeing the same thing that you are, but this takes us all the way out to June 27th, and then from here we can see a 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe this is what you're talking about right here. Putting that 1 there. If I dive in here, maybe what you're referring to is this, where we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Sorry, A, B, C down to here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 4. So this is the 1, this is the 4. Maybe that's what you're referring to, and that's okay because this does look like a little bit of a leading diagonal here into the 1. And so what I mean by that is we've got, this trend line here, and then from down here we've got this guy that takes us up into our wave 1, and then we have the ABC down here into the 2. So I mean, I think that the count here is still okay. I'm not too overly concerned about it. And yeah, I've got a wick out there, but I'm not. Oh, okay, all right. So from my last Bitcoin video, I'm gonna have to take a look at that and just check in on that. Yeah, throw me a comment or maybe send me a DM in Discord and we can look at this and clarify. This is a chart that I'm looking at on Bitstamp, so I know on BitMEX I have a slightly different count on there. So yeah, you're fine. Go ahead and shoot me a DM and we can take a look at the count. No worries there. But at any rate, just taking a look at Bitcoin again, this being the 1 up here and I've got it up there. You just can't see it. Here's the 1. Working down, hit the 2. I believe that this 2 is likely complete. So again, we've got an A, B, and a deep C here. I think that we've got a 1, 2, potentially a 1, 2 that we're working on again here. So I don't know if we've bottomed out here. We're sitting at 10.5. Once we bottomed out at 10.4, we've got lots of bad news with BitMax. We've got bad news with all different kinds of things going on right now. Yet the market is not reacting in a way that would be heavily bearish. So that tells me that we do have a little bit of strength in the market, and just watching the markets try to react and recover a little bit is encouraging, right? So, I'm just watching things. Apple is trying to recover. Boeing is trying to recover. Netflix even is trying to recover. Macy's, I'm interested in Macy's, but these things are trying to recover and they're not dumping right now. And maybe it happens later today. We'll continue watching. We'll continue watching the markets throughout the day. But for right now, I think that we do have some signs of strength in the market based on what I'm seeing. And maybe I'm blind. Maybe I'm not seeing things clearly. But I think that right now, this is looking really well. For Bitcoin, we were talking about this. I believe we were talking about this yesterday. I outlined this green here because this looks like 5 waves. If we're working on an ABC correction, we've got 1, 2, it's pretty clear, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 5. Then what do we have? From here, we have an A, B, C. Okay, then what do we have? From up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, working on the 4, and then we go down for the 5, which would take us right down where I'm expecting us to go. Okay, and what does that complete? Well, that actually would complete very nicely an A, a B, and a C correction, going right back down to that important support. Okay, so if that happens, I mean, that would be beautiful, because what that means is this could very well be a candidate for a 1, 2, and then we go up here for the 3, 4, 5 on a higher degree, of course. So I'm going to continue watching this. I'm not abandoning my bullish stance right now. I'm not going to abandon my bullish stance. And again, my bullish stance is we are likely to be heading up to 15, 16, maybe 17,000 by the end of the year. And from there, I think we crash, and I think we crash hard. But I'm not abandoning this count yet. Now, this critical support right here, 9,800, I talk about this all the time. If we break 9,800, I'm not doing any kind of knife catching, because if we break 9,800, we're likely going back down to 64. Okay, so you guys heard it here. If we break 98, likely we are going down to 64, unless we see a penetration and an immediate spring off of it. That would be a very big sign of weakness. So I am skeptical of of a move down. But if we break 9,800 and we hold below 9,800, that would be very bearish. So for right now, I say that we are probably in the middle of this correction, which I had outlined yesterday. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to leave it there just so that we can see this as it works its way through, finishing the C wave. Then we move up and out of here. Okay, that's Bitcoin. Lots going on in the markets. I do appreciate all of the commentary and the YouTube chat. It's nice to have some interaction with you guys, even though unfortunately it's kind of a one-way conversation. I'd love to do these things on Zoom and have you guys come in. Yeah, so we've got, I mean, a good comment here. We're stuck between the 50 daily moving average and the 200 daily moving average. I would believe that. Let's go ahead and pull that in here and see. Okay, let the chart load here. Okay, so I've got the daily chart open here. So let's pull up our moving averages. Let me get rid of that. This guy. And let's keep the 55 and the 200. I've got both 200s there. So let's just take a look at this. We've got what appears to be, here's the 55. This is the 55 exponential, and this is the 200 exponential that we've got here, and this is on the daily. So yeah, I can see it. However, it would appear more than likely the 100 is, yeah, this is where we're stuck. We're stuck between the 55 and the 100 right now, currently. But this candle that we're forming right now in the daily, I mean, it looks like it wants to reverse based on this. I would say if we break down below and hold the daily below 10.5, then probably we will find our way back down here, to kind of where we're looking at. I believe that was like 10.3, something along those lines, and I'm using the other chart for that. But that's kind of what I see here. So yeah, I mean, all in all, we need to get above this 55. I would say actually the 21 is probably also an important one for us to pay attention to. So we're stuck below the 21. The 21 and the 55, they're kind of flirting with each other, really wanting to get a move up, but it's just not happening right now. So just going to have to give it some time and just kind of wait and see what happens. But yeah, agreed. We never retested the 200. Let's just look here. We have not tested the 200 exponential on the daily since breaking out of it. Actually, one could say we never tested it on the way up. We just flew right through it. So maybe I don't want to see us retest that 200 right now. Maybe on the weekly. Maybe on the weekly. If I take, actually, I'm going to go to BLX. I know I'm going a little longer than what I expected to here, but that's okay. BLX on the weekly, right? So let's just watch this. We retested the 200 simple on the weekly. We've got a test of the 200 simple here, but we went down much lower. So how low did we go? Let's just take a look here. I'm going to change my 200 to a 300. And did we retest the 300 weekly? I would say we got pretty darn close. We got pretty close. That red is now the 300 simple moving average right here. And we retested that almost perfectly. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty good. On the weekly, we've been retesting the 21 on the weekly over and over and over. So I just, yeah, I'd like to see us continue to stay above the 21 exponential on the weekly, personally. But that's just at a personal level. I think we will break through, right? So you can see I've got a prediction here. This is something that I was going through with a good friend of mine. We were talking about a potential count, and I guess I'll just kind of throw this in here. Throwing in that this is just a projection, and this still remains to be seen, but very possible that we do make our way up to the B, which again we've been talking about at 16, 17K. But then likely we find our way back at 3,200. Maybe we even go a little bit lower, but likely that will be the completion of wave 4 to take us up to wave 5, which I predicted to be about 40 to 50,000. From there, I think we started more significant pullback, which takes us back to approximately $1,000, and then ultimately finding our way up to, maybe 500,000. I don't really know. I don't want to get too crazy right now, but ultimately it's very possible that this is what the market is going to do over the next decade, assuming Bitcoin doesn't just completely collapse under itself, which is also a very big possibility. We're just going to have to wait and see. And we're going to have to be patient. I mean, we're talking like this is 10 years down the road. This is not anything that's going to happen this year or next year. So this year, next year, we're probably going to find our way back to maybe 32, maybe 3,000. Then we find our way up to 50, probably next year, maybe in 2 years. Then we correct down, and then we find our way moving ourselves back up. This is a long way down the road, though. It's going to be a long road, lots of opportunities between now and then. All right. I think that's it for right now. I'll go ahead and end it. And, if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and